What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is the Blazer King with King's Critiques, and we're back for Mangaka. And in the last episode, Sato showed just how much Futami means to her. Now, is it strictly professional, or is it something a little deeper than that? Well, you know my thoughts on that, but what are yours? Let me know in the comment section before we get started. And let the video run through, let me get the watch time, hit the like button, subscribe, and all of that good stuff you'll be reminded about at the end. That being said, let's get into things, shall we? Somebody else new, who looks so tired. Yeah, I kind of figured she had to be about on level with Sato. Yeah, but what? Did you think she stuttered? Imagine your boss respecting you to that point. W's. Now, if only bosses in certain industries could respect their employees as much as that. Neil! Okay, yeah, she did kind of exude that sort of energy. But also, as far as what Sato said about letting a title change your personality, isn't that literally what happens with most work worlds? You know, you can be hang out with somebody just fine and dandy and awesome and making jokes, going to drink beers, and then a couple weeks later they get a promotion, now they're your boss, and instead of having that same attitude, they're like, you know? I don't know. Is this going to be where she doesn't come off so friendly and actually is a really questionable thing to ask of Futami that she's going to have some sort of moral and ethical crisis over? Oh, no, that's actually a good thing that she's being asked to do. W. I mean, it'll still send her into some kind of crisis because anxiety-ridden mangaka, but yeah, no, she's being asked a lot if it's a rush job. Yeah, but we like you more. Yeah, she, of course, has a certain boss layer of her, of course. Yeah, that sounds about right for these days. Which, also, can we just talk about how it's crazy how the level of drama in things has upped over the last 20, 30 years? Specifically, the last 20. Specifically, the last 10. Maybe even 15. Like, it's really not hard to cause drama. Like, this specifically. Well, okay, no, this, is it really a scandal? Because this has definitely been a thing for at least 30, 20 years. You know, that's how TMZ, what it was, got started. You know, lead actress of hit movie goes on date with man who's not an actor? You know, hell, it's even, that kind of thing is actually even big news now, because I see posts all the time about shit like that. Like, the post about fucking Makima's Japanese VA dating somebody who's not a voice actor. Crazy, right? Famous people can actually date normal people. Though that probably also depends on the normal people's level of attractiveness and success. But I digress. Because you know how much of a pushover Futami is. But, again, also, with how hard she pushes for Futami in cases like this, it does kind of show, is it really just a professional level of appreciation? Okay, so I'm not going to make the obvious statement yet. I'm going to go another couple minutes in before I make that statement, but y'all probably already know what's brewing up here if you've been watching long enough. You're staring at the wall, you know that, right? Actually, she kind of reminds me of the chick who works at the bookstore. Like, just a little bit. I'm not an artist, but actually, on how she's saying this, it all depends on what the book contains. Because, like, say they're working on more of a drama arc for the story, or something that's supposed to be more of a, you know, the main character starts feeling down about himself, that kind of thing. Cold colors would work, you know, do something in kind of a purpley, so it's like kind of warm, but it's transitioning into cold. I might not have talent, but I have ideas. I don't know about that, but that's honestly kind of what I did between recording episodes. Like, it was already a certain time after I'd woken up, so my stomach was like, yo, and like, fine. I'm not somebody who likes to eat very soon after waking up. I wait for my stomach to yell at me. But that's because I have more important things to be doing, like recording, or in most cases, editing the things I had recorded. Which is kind of why I really wish that things could kick off more, honestly. I give up way too much time to other topics. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah. So, remember how I brought up before about who the most attractive character is? She's super cute, and I don't think she's the most attractive. Well, maybe. Hit or miss. But she's definitely the most likable. Because I enjoy her personality, and she's really cute. No, she literally just threw you under the bus. I mean, that is throwing Sato right under the bus. True. Relatable. Because there's like, you think about what you're supposed to do, you become overwhelmed about it, so you take too fucking long to start on it. That's kind of like my problem with a lot of things. Like the editing, because I still have a massive catalog of backed up stuff that needs to get uploaded. However, throughout March and April, hopefully I'll finish up what I have backed up so I can either finish things I have a lot of unfinished things for, or be able to start new things. And another thing that I get overwhelmed about because there's way too much to do is cleaning. I did a lot of cleaning yesterday. Can you tell? No? Didn't think so. I love how she just points it out. That's actually incredible. And it's probably gonna put both of them red-faced. And that's even better. I was expecting them to get flustered from it. I'm depressed. Okay. I hate feeling like mustache hairs had gotten on my teeth. Editing me, remember to cut this bit out because that was just weird. Patreon side, apologies. But yeah, I am a bit upset that they like both just get flustered from that statement because clearly they both not only admire each other but have some sort of feelings. Holy shit, that's $500. Also, based on that last scene, yeah, okay, she might actually be the most attractive character. Don't at me. We have a new contender. Oh, so they know each other. It's not just like a random appearance. Doesn't Nana usually mean like grandmother? She is not that young or that old, and yeah, her and the blonde chick already kind of took spot for the most attractive characters. Yeah, that adds up. Oh, good. So when Nashida comes home, there's gonna be complaints about a homewrecker. Which, listen, Nashida's sort of relatable and such. I'm not an alcoholic, but I do get the whole failure aspect way of life. But yeah, she's got competition from more than just Sato, it seems. Yeah, I'd like to think of those kind of people too. Probably so far off and wrong for a lot of cases. Actually, no, that's probably not true. Like, if you look into a lot of interviews with people who make manga, a lot of them are very humble. A lot of them are very open. A lot of them are very honest about things. At least that's the case with, like, extremely popular things. Because, like, the guy from JJK, for example, and I'm putting spoilers for people who haven't read the manga out now because while I'm not caught up to the anime, I will do so soon because I have to, channel. But, like the writer of JJK hated Gojo apparently, and that's why he did what he did with Gojo. You know, and fucking the dude that Oda who does One Piece. He made that bit about a pirate wearing an eye patch, and that's how people knew that season 2 is the end, basically. Which, the fact that they have 1,100-ish episodes and that's only season 1, crazy. But yeah, okay, and yeah, mangakas are definitely more respectable than authors. And I know it's kind of a similar concept, but listen, if you look into, say, the horror novelization world, you have people that are likable, and you have people that you don't know who they are, and then you just have people that have been at each other's throats for decades, even though one is clearly better than the other. Albeit, I think the better one has been on drugs for a majority of his projects, and he's also been open and honest about that. So I can't say authors are shitty either, but they also tend to be more fucked up than mangaka artists. And yes, I'm talking about the issue of, like, at least Stephen King, Dean Koontz. Because I'm pretty sure Stephen King has openly admitted that he had done drugs during a lot of his early work. Could be wrong. Correct me in the comment section. I was not expecting that when she said Sennin. I won't lie, though. I absolutely adore that idea, too. That, like, somebody that writes the dirtiest or even most clever smut that you can think of is actually just the most attractive, pure-hearted person behind the fucking keyboard. I know that's probably not true a lot of the time, though it's probably not untrue some of the time. Because, I mean, as despicable as it is, if you look at a lot of those fantasy novels that women love nowadays, that really just says a lot about what kind of people they actually are in here, or in here. A lot of those, I think, are actually written by women. So, like, I mean, hey, more power to her as long as they're not banging horses, right? I love how Futami's not even surprised, actually, by the way. Like, calling her innocent for that. Toko probably also reads that kind of stuff. Doubting. Well, a little bit, Hazani, a little bit. But it's fine, you'll learn. Ayo! How can you be a prodigal talent of such a thing? And this is one of those things where I take this kind of left field statement and turn it to something channel focused of, are we ever going to see a Wanna Be the Twin Tail Season 2? Because listen, that was an insane series, but I would without a doubt watch it if it has Season 2. Matter of fact, if anybody watched that and knows if there's a manga and if it continues on further, let me know, because with having the Crunchy manga, kind of like maybe turn that into content, but also that might take the enjoyment of it as well. So, like, maybe, maybe not, we'll see. But hey, in that kind of case, let me know and we'll find out. Yeah, that's kind of true. I mean, from the start of the channel to now, I've definitely had harem be, like, on a lesser frequency of anime I want to watch. There are a couple of things I probably would still check out, but it's only if it, like, gives something. And to be more obvious on how I mean by that, by give something, I mean the kind of thing that would only have to be uploaded on Patreon exclusively unless I want to, just do a short version to mention it's on Patreon. Which, honestly, maybe I should, like, do that kind of thing. Maybe I'll do that with that other Yuri series that I started recording and need to finish. I think it has hit its finale, I'm not sure, but I'll check that out later, especially if I have time after these. Ah, that's the neat part about some things. Does kind of work that way. Like, even smut sometimes can be very emotional. I wonder how many times I'm allowed to say that word before YouTube cries at me. wonder if I can ever just get like a list of words that aren't fun to, for them to allow being used in a short amount of time or a continuous amount of time. Because I know if I said the F word multiple times in a row, that might make them frown on content, which is, well, butt fuckingly stupid, but hey, 2026 censorship is at an all-time high and it's pathetic as hell, but especially with YouTube's, tarded AI. Hey, yo! Oh, I'm sure they did. Damn, that's actually very impressive, especially for that kind of thing. Then again, having an assistant for that kind of thing is, yeah, questionable. That's that's actually kind of funny because that's how I think with the whole I need a video editor thing. Because like I do for the gaming stuff. I feel like if I tried to have an editor for these videos, it'd get a little weird sometimes. Unless it's somebody that doesn't mind how I do things. Then it might not be so bad. Because, like, imagine hearing all the either anger, depressed, jealous, or even horny comments I make all the time on whatever kind of content, and being my editor to handle all that shit and having to listen to it and determine what's good for YouTube and what should just stay on Patreon. Or the other difference of what's good for the bigger video and what can stay in the short. Oh? Hazami went from hating the idea of the work to offering her assistance? Crazy. Phrasing! Actually, you know what? She did that on purpose, and you know she did. Hard call on who's more likable between her and the blonde, but I think she's winning. We've already seen Hasan and... Right, I need to stop doing that for the obvious reason. We've already seen Hazami in the cheerleading outfit, but Toko in the maid outfit? Yes? I mean, it can be. And again, you already put on the cheerleading outfit to help Futami's motivation, so why not, right? In most areas, that would be considered sexual harassment, but she is the one who offered. I love how Futami's just backing up the thought process. Meanwhile, Toko's just sitting there, embarrassed as hell, maybe a little excited. But that could just be an assumption, because maybe it's not the type of thing she gets to do much. Maybe it's fun for her. Who knows? Hey, yo, listen, if we could get that in one of the next couple episodes, I would not mind seeing Toko in a swimsuit. She got like one of the best bodies on the show. I mean, no, yeah, that's what I meant. It is kind of hard to say no, isn't it? I'm not boiling over. Oh, well, maybe it is a little bit. Also, they need to, like, clean their pots. Because, like, I know pots rust and decay after a while, but I question even with my own pots and pans about how much that's good for the food you cook. I mean, isn't that kind of the thing that, like, doesn't help? And why professional restaurants should usually replace their equipment frequently? I could be wrong. I've only started cooking for myself, over the last, like, year. So, let me rephrase that. I've only been starting to cook hard things for myself. And I use the term hard loosely. Ironic. But, like, I went from just keeping it as simple as, like, pasta to even cooking my own chicken. And I'm gonna try to be smart enough to cook meat. Cooking meat at home is, like, hard, though. But also, maybe that's just, like, me eating other people's meat being cooked who don't really add proper amounts of seasoning. No offense to my mother, but I don't feel like any meat that has ever been cooked in this house has had the proper amount of seasoning. Like, meat made into nacho meat is one thing, but for, like, burgers or something, I don't think it's ever been seasoned properly. But reasons why I buy my own shit to try it out eventually, and if it ends up going to waste, well, fuck. It's actually kind of funny how Futami was so impressed with it, though. Like, just the initial, whoa, that's freaking awesome. It's like, wow, you think that level, huh? Maybe Futami's a little bit lewd up here, huh? Actually, you know what? She's definitely a little bit lewd up there, because we saw the first couple episodes how she thought about Sato meeting with another man and the way her mind kinda went places. Just saying, maybe she was just self-inserting. And honestly, I can respect somebody who looks at, any sort of lewd content like that and appreciates the sheer art of it. And that's honestly part of the reason why I don't mind some of, actually, as I mentioned earlier, why I don't mind some of the harem-based things that I do watch, because it's actually giving the good stuff in that regard. It's not always that bad. There's a couple of anime in that regard to where I'm kind of hit or miss on if I want to watch it. Fucking Peter Grill or The Tale of Wedding Rings or whatever the fuck those two are. I know they're harem anime, but they're also harem anime that shows things. It's not like, oh, well, here's a taste of it, and then nothing actually happens. It's like, cool. It's funny. It's irritating, kind of boring, but not really much visually entertaining about it other than the same thing you can see in like 20 other shows, minimum. But then you talk about stuff, and I won't go into the more controversial one because I know people are like so up in there about it. But like things like the Harem in a Labyrinth, or whatever the fuck the full name of that show was. That one was good, though I do kind of wish they had like saved the clip show of him getting his other wives to like extend into a season 2. But maybe they did that in a similar way to a couple other things, because they knew they probably wouldn't get greenlit for a season 2. But one of those things I would not mind knowing the source of the manga for. This was certainly an interesting episode for a couple of reasons. We already had quite a few lovely characters, aesthetically, physically, and then we got 2 more that knocked the socks off me in metaphorical sense. I'm not wearing socks right now, so. But. Because the blonde woman is super cute, super likable personality wise, and then we got to see a little bit more of her. And then there was Nagomi, who, yeah, she's just a whole package. Like, personality wise, and physically, aesthetically, just. Of course, you can't go wrong with the rest of the cast in mostly no particular order. Sato, Futami, Azami, Toko, the fucking book clerk, and the one who handles that stuff. I ship them still, by the way. Honestly, I think Nishida's probably the least attractive, but even she's still kind of cute and incredibly relatable with how this works. A handful of episodes left of this. Hopefully I can finish them by later tonight. If not, well, that's unfortunate, but I'll try to work on that in the next couple days otherwise. But that said, let me know your thoughts on the episode, the show as a whole, the characters, and hey, if you're into, women, period, who you find the most attractive. And if you at me with their fictional characters, one, yes, you have a fair point, which is why I have, only slightly more high grounds in most anime I watch because of the ages and whatnot. But also, fuck you. Which, speaking of ages, Nekono is a good bean. That all being said, let me know about any other things you have in your mind in the comment section down below, whether it due to the show or otherwise, and about other shows, movies, etc. I should check out this is next in or in general. Remember, it doesn't have to be anime. It just seems to be like the best kind of thing to do reviews on. because there's a lot more differences in it than a lot of TV shows out there. Hit the like button, subscribe to the other channels in the description, ring all the bells, like Facebook, follow Twitter, and Blue Sky, keep updated with things, TikTok, Patreon, where you get the full unedited visuals and audio of the stuff I upload here, including the couple of parts I had to cut from this episode because, well, Nagomi being an R18 artist means a couple of things in this episode were questionable for if YouTube might yell at me. There's a lot of times that things get shown in these anime, though, that YouTube hadn't yelled at me for yet. But a couple of things I definitely will take off, just in case. Of course, don't forget to follow on Twitch, subscribe there for benefits, help me out immensely for the temporary, this for the long term. You know how it is, does, and goes. And, that being said, I'm not gonna do the whole, I'll just stream eventually, because I will, but I feel like people are sick of me making excuses, but episode to episode, we'll see how that goes. That being said, though, Ben the Blazer King with King's Critiques, so ta-ta for now. Peace.